Well, hi there, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, I wanted to use my other intro that we've got. Someone was good enough to make for me, and I just it makes me smile when I see it.
Yeah, it's
It's
cool.
neat,
It's cool.
neat little thing. It's a nice little break from the open bar intro. Anyway, welcome everybody to Last Orders for Open Bar 164. It was quite the night,
Welcome,
Mauler.
welcome.
We shared some laughs, shared some tears. We talked about the Running Man. That was mostly tears. But then we talked about Grace
Fun.
Randolph, and that was mostly laughs. So
She's great. It was mentioned at the beginning I was in high spirits, and I could just pretty much confirm that those spirits were obviously the video is done. So by the time
yay!
it's I think by the time this comes out, I will have said it somewhere else already. Anyway, yeah, I'm planning on yeah definitely, but it's done in the sense that it's been rendered and proofed, so there's nothing stopping it now other than the apocalypse.
Nothing,
I guess.
nothing can stop what's coming.
Genuinely though, it is a bit of a stressful thing of like anything can and will go wrong, right? Like Vegas breaks, my computer breaks, I get ill or something, which I did actually during this. There is a portion of this, two of them actually very explicitly, where I recorded them ill. You can tell if you
Really?
listen for it, but I'll point it out to people once it's out, see if people notice. Otherwise, it's kind of funny. The voice is just obviously deeper, but also weaker in a way. I also explain it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, there's all kinds of things that could stop it from releasing. I was always worried about copyright, but the previous render was mostly complete, and I didn't get any hits. So, which honestly, in retrospect, I'm kind of blown away by. There's a lot of film footage in this thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's always the potential that you'll get a claim after it's up, because that's always nice when
Yeah,
that
love
happens.
those ones.
Yeah, but you can usually appeal and you're fine. It's just a
That's the
minor
thing.
inconvenience.
If it's if it's good to go according to YouTube, but I can't do anything else but release it. It's just like, well,
Yeah, for sure.
whatever will
No,
be, will be.
the world is waiting with bated breath to see this.
I'm just excited at the notion of premiering a video from 1 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. That's so funny.
Yeah, man. It's well, take a well-earned break for a little while after you've done it. I think.
Yeah, I might even have a whole day off. It's gonna be
Because
great.
like people obviously form opinions about what you've been up to when you haven't made a video in like a year, and like I've been privy to like the actual work that Mauler's been putting in on this like over the past year. I've had regular updates, and the amount of like script work, like the sheer volume of footage that he's had to use for it is absurd. Like there's no other word for it. It is beyond the scope of human endurance for most people to have put together a video like this, but he did it, and I think you should be very proud of what you've created, sir.
I'm still at the point of not quite believing it is what it is. I think as soon as the premiere is finished, I'll believe it. I'll be like, there it is, it's done. But it is hilarious, is the word I've described. Once, if who's listening right now, if you watch this whole thing, it's hilarious how fucking big it is. Also, I managed to fit in. I don't know if you saw the recent thing about Call of Duty has AI like calling cards or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's that. There's Metroid Prime 4's annoying friendly characters, like the yellow paint but in human form.
Just don't let any more like major gaming events happen in the next couple of weeks.
And there's Vampire Bloodline Masquerade, whatever, too. I saw clips of that. The dialogue was horrendous. I got all three of them into this video right before the final render. Just like, get in, because this is all the point I'm trying to make about gaming.
All controversies are welcome here. I just, it occurred to me, I can see myself obviously on the screen here. I forgot to put the overhead lights on, so it's like super dark and sinister.
The mood.
Like
it's a mood.
It is. Wait. I'll see if I can go to red alert on this one. There we go.
Whoa.
Holy shit, that is really dark, actually. Shall I just leave it like this for a demonic undertone? It's not Halloween anymore. I should probably try and put it back. Wait, can I go green? There we go. All right. Back. There, that's more normal.
Normal. Who likes normal?
It's it makes me look slightly less yellow from the liver cirrhosis. That's why you can't see my eyes.
I did on one of my last streams, I had someone come in and say like they just wanted to let me know they were very disappointed that I'd chosen to like take the money and run sort of thing with when it comes to the channel and not make anything anymore.
Mhm.
And they didn't believe that the video was coming. And I did say to her, I was like, "What are you going to say if it releases? Like, what are you going to do?"
They will ignore that and just
Just like,
move on.
just like, oh, I guess he wasn't lying. It's like, nope.
Yeah, I mean, as if you would lie about something like that. Oh yeah, I got this massive video coming out on like this specific date, like, and then it doesn't happen. Like, well, joke's on you guys, I guess.
I did say, like, I guess it is within reason that I would have lied this whole time to maintain support and just do whatever I want. But is it really likely that all of you guys would have lied too?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really make sense, does it?
Yeah, unless you fooled us all, Mahler. all those
That would be funny.
graphics and all that footage that you showed me, it was all a lie.
And then I say it was a big social experiment. I actually made a 40-hour video about social experiments, and this was a part of it. And you're like, huh?
Or like your actual video is just you eating like a bowl of cornflakes or something for 5 minutes and then just laughing and walking off. I mean, be a good one. But never mind. Tell you what, how about we answer a few of the super chats that we didn't get to on the night?
Let's do it.
It was glorious on the night, but we couldn't get through it all, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one I think is from Jegson Voorhees. I wonder what that could be a reference to. It says Predator
Clearly
Badlands.
Michael Myers.
Yeah, exactly. Predator Badlands prequel comic reveals that Deck's dad already sent him on a mission that he failed, meaning he's even more justified wanting him dead. Sure, yeah, because if your son fails at something, you should definitely murder him rather than just, try and teach him or whatever.
Predator culture for you. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's toxic. That's what it is. Clint Beastwood. These names are amazing. Grace Randolph was bragging that one of her posts got 4 million views. I pointed out that only 3,000 likes on the post is bad, actually, and she blocked me. Sounds a bit standard behavior.
I would hate to be blocked by Grace Randolph.
I mean, it would deprive you of so much entertainment, but I don't know.
So
Do you think can we get her on open bar? I think that would be amazing.
Man, that would be an episode. It would
That'd
have to be just her, like me, you, and her, and we'd have to be like, Grace, tell us about your opinions.
just hit us with it. Like, give us
Grace,
your
where do you
get
your ideas from?
Mark Holmes, remember Ryan Kinnell's review for The Batman and what everyone hated him for saying? Same thing with The Running Man. It does the same thing, but worse. What was his take again?
He said all the good guys were black and all the bad guys were white. I think.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to tally up Running Man. So
tally up.
Yeah, how does it stack? So yeah, Killian, white guy. The guy
Michael Cera was a good guy.
He's a good guy, yeah, and he's white.
He's a weird guy though, I guess.
He's a weird guy, but he's still white, The other guy whose name I can't remember. Yeah, William H. Macy. He's like a resistance dude. He's white.
Did he get tortured? Did that happen, or was that like a dream?
It did, because they had his hand in a vice, and then you never saw him again.
I thought because they show that, and then they show Glenn Powell waking up, and then he's like, "Oh, they've not."
No, because they got information from him that led them to
right. Okay.
Although they didn't need it technically, because they can trace his wristband thingy anyway.
I just remember thinking already that was like disappointing. It's like, oh, they got to him. You'd have thought that guy, William H. Macy, would have known to get the fuck out of this sort of thing, or be careful.
Yeah, but is he's the equivalent of like Mick Fleetwood's character from the original Running Man, isn't he? I think
presumably, yeah.
Yeah, fucking what downgrade, man.
Well, the whole thing is a downgrade, but yeah, you watched the original recently again, right?
I did rewatch it, yeah, just for fun, and I was like, this is actually really fun.
I watched it with Mel when he came over last.
Yeah, and it's like I'm watching a real movie with characters and a plot that goes someplace. This is nice, and it all wraps up in like less than 100 minutes, I think, which is just super. Yeah, it's not like a classic
Christmas
of cinema.
Tree. No, yeah, it's not like ranking Arnie films. It's not in my like. I'm not even sure it's in my top 10, but it's
solid rate. It's a sort of mid-level Arnie movie. It's on the same level as like Eraser or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, still good fun.
Yeah.
M8566. It fascinates me to see how the majority of film critics have evolved over time. They used to be too harsh on good films, and now they glaze the slop that comes out today. What are your thoughts? I mean, who are we talking about here? Are we talking about the old school guys who've been around since the bricks went in? And is it just because they've got access now and, that's how they maintain it, or what? Are we getting Stockmanized here?
I mean, it's like a big melting pot of all kinds of reviewing that happens, and there's a weird blurry line between someone who's genuinely just a fan of stuff and wants to promote, everybody having fun and watching the thing and celebrating it, with people who are supposed to critically analyze. It's just like, I guess it depends who you're talking about.
I wonder if they're like, for a lot of these critics, especially when they get to like a certain point, because maybe when they start out, they're like in their 20s or something, and they're like young and edgy and they don't give a fuck, and they're just there to like put the world to rights. But then, skip forward 10 years or whatever, maybe like they're married, they've got kids, they've got a mortgage, and they just don't want the hassle of like shitting on movies and getting loads of pushback from people. And they just want to like, take the easy road and be like, everything's fine. This movie was okay. Just collect their YouTube paycheck and then move on. I don't know. It might be.
I mean, I've said I've been a dick to movies since I can remember. I still cite Alien 3 was where it started. It's like, they can make bad movies, and that's bad, and they shouldn't make that. That's, like refusing to accept that the thing they showed you was canon. It's like, no, that's not fair. Can't do this to me.
But there's an increasing number of people now who are just like, well, slop like Alien Romulus or Predator Badlands. It's like, well, it's tolerably watchable, and so you should just accept it. Like, it's better than it could have been. So what are you complaining about? It's like, no.
There's a big push for new entry into your IP is better than no entry at all.
Yeah. And it's like, do you guys like remember how good these IPs were? Like, there's a reason they've been around for 30 or 40 years. It's because they had some incredible movies, and it should be at that level. It's obviously possible to do it.
Yep.
Why aren't we doing it now?
And here we are.
So yeah, like, expect more. Fuck's sake. Road Unlife Productions says Badlands is full of holes in lore of 2 franchises that require homework to fix a movie too simple to need it. It's pretty accurate, actually. It shouldn't be like this. Laganas says the only reboot I'm enthusiastic about is the Highlander reboot, and this is coming from someone who absolutely adores the original. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's good. You've got Henry Cavill in it. You've got a good director behind it. Maybe they can pull something off with this one. We will see. Land Far Away says, I got a huge promotion, so I'm sharing some dollars. Also, Mahler, thoughts on Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog of Joss Whedon, or by Joss Whedon. It has Nathan Fillion singing.
I saw it when it first came out, like, I think, and I need to rewatch it. I need to watch that. I need to watch Much Ado About Nothing, and probably like some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at least, because that's like, I think that's it then. I've seen his catalog for the most part, all the major stuff anyway. But yeah, it's just been my to-do list. I got a big to-do list for David Fincher as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Brendan's little channel says, Drinker, who would win in a fight between Batman and the Punisher? I'd say Punisher would win because he wouldn't hesitate to kill. Bring back Happy Hour. No, I think Batman would win.
If we're talking about okay, Batman's fought plenty of people who would have no hesitation on killing. He usually wins.
Yeah. I mean, you think about his combat abilities, his like armored bat suit, his ability to like prepare and understand his opponent. Yeah, he would probably win.
In the person versus person stuff, Batman scores extremely high. He's really hard to beat. When it's like Dr. Manhattan or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't put him up against like gods or like cosmic beings that can like vaporize him in an instant. That would be just retarded. You shouldn't do that in a movie. Anyway, moving on. Kanye says, yo, you got a Metatron on the open bar. Guess the haters can't call him Wokatron anymore. Lol, I jest. Pleasure to see you fellas. This drink's for you. Thank you very much. And yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to have Metatron on. Next time, hopefully, we can give him something a bit more like meaty to get his teeth into, rather than just talking about beef between actresses and stuff.
That's when you get the perfect storm, when you invite a brand new blood guest on, and you happen to have a topic that you're sort of like, you're pretty familiar with, but the guest is like hyper passionate about, and you just let him go, and you're like, holy shit.
I wish we'd had him when we did like Napoleon or like Gladiator 2 or something. Like, it would have been superb. Una Groove says, didn't you love how the entire second half of the movie relies on a chance encounter with a little boy who happens to have a Deus Ex Machina brother? Yeah, that was lucky, wasn't it, Mahler? He just keeps running into people that can help him directly.
Well, that's the thing. I think I have a feeling anyway that I'd be told not only by the people who like the film, but by maybe even Edgar Wright. There's like, yeah, so, and it's like, bro, your Cornetto trilogy is like nothing but cause and effect. I just don't know what happened, man. I don't know.
Do you think it was studio interference, or is it just like big budget movies? He's like doesn't have that same degree of creative control as he would have
It's
over a
kind
Simon
of
Pegg film.
impossible to tell because we've talked about how it's like, so was it Simon Pegg then? And it's like, well, no, but his writing isn't very good at all without Ed. It's just like, so what is it? It's like, I don't know. I guess they've lost something, or they a value. Because, like we've seen it with Ridley Scott and James Cameron as well. It's just like, what happened to those guys? They used to value the fact that the cinematographer said like the Ridley Scott that he used to work with just doesn't exist anymore. It's just like,
Yeah,
damn,
but I mean, in his case,
sensibilities
like
change.
Ridley Scott is like 90 years old and senile and
Yeah,
stuff. Like
Edgar Wright
Simon
is
Pegg
still,
doesn't.
they're both. I was about to say young. I don't know exact ages, but I'm pretty sure to say they're young.
They're young enough that you can't really claim senility as
Yeah.
an excuse. So yeah,
So I don't know what happened. I'd love to find out someday.
we will. We'll get to the bottom of this. Glitterstorm Apocalypse says, Drinker, have you ever considered getting into the whiskey business and eventually releasing a Critical Reserve 12-year-old? Speaking of whiskey, what are your top 3? I want to try something new. So, yeah, I'm not going to be alive in 12 years. I won't live to see the fruits of my labor. Yeah, I mean, what a lot of distilleries do is like they'll get their first bottlings in and maturing in the casks. Then obviously you've got like at least an 8 to 10 year gap before they're even considered like viable whiskies. What they then do is start brewing gin instead, or distilling gin, because gin can be prepared relatively quickly, like within a year, and that's what you'll see. Like that's why there's a flourish of gin distilleries in Scotland, because they're really whiskey distilleries, but they're just waiting for their first batch to be ready. So it's like we'll produce gin in the meantime, which is kind of neat. I like gin. I don't know.
It would also be
I'm
neat
fine
to
with it.
have a drinker branded alcoholism or something. That'd be fun.
Sure. I wouldn't be against doing that. I think it would probably make more sense to lend my name to like a distillery that's already up and running rather than, try to
Yeah.
create my own. I don't really have the patience for that. Top 3 whiskies. Lagavulin is probably my top. Balvenie Doublewood, because I like the Speyside whiskies. They've got a sort of sweeter element to them. And then probably something like Jura would be my third choice. So a little bit of a mixture, but yeah, maybe Highland Park actually might be my third. So yeah, those would be my. I'd be happy to drink any of them anytime. Casterpiece says, I love that Mahler brings up Life of Chuck at least 4 times now, and everyone keeps dismissing him. Keep on plugging it, good sir. I wonder what others on these panels would think of it.
It's okay. I know a lot of people didn't. I only watched it because of who made it. I wouldn't have seen it otherwise, probably. I really liked it. It's quite wholesome, the film, so it's hard to recommend in terms of like genre. But Mike Flanagan made a character focused movie. It's out there. It's probably my favorite of the year.
Funny, a lot of people are talking as well about how I made the bit of a faux pas saying like, voice acting's not really acting. That's like I didn't express myself very well. And they're like, everyone's like, I could see Mahler just turning red when he said that.
I mean, it's just that you remember that video? It's funny. Benedict Cumberbatch's Smaug. Have you seen that?
No, I've seen other
Oh my
ones
god.
like when actors get very physical in their performance. Like I think there was one where Hugh Jackman was like recording like almost like combat sounds for Logan, right? During the sort of
Mhm.
Wolverine Berserker scene, and he was doing all the movements. He was like properly getting
Well, yeah.
physically
So
worked up for that.
if you pull this video up and mute it so you don't get any copyright issues, and for those at home, Benedict Cumberbatch, The Hobbit, the best scene, Smaug. That's what the title of the video is. When you
Oh
see
yeah,
guys
okay.
doing this for their voice acting and stuff, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
Let's see if I can
The
share screen for this one then. Let's just
Oh
see.
yeah, I don't know if you have any problem copyright or not. And obviously, you could say like this is technically the bridge between live action and voice acting. But obviously, what I'm getting at is just that a lot of actors take it no less seriously. Another example would be like Christopher Judge for Kratos. It's
I take it
Should
you can
probably.
see this, by the way, because it's maximized on my
Oh yeah, I
screen.
can see it. Yeah, yeah. If
Oh
you
yeah.
skip around, there's parts where he's moving, and
I mean, yeah, because they mocapping him for this as well. Damn.
yeah. But if you look at that, like it's I mean, it's a reference, right, for what they'll do with
I
Smaug.
mean, geez, I'd be exhausted trying to move around like that.
But like this is just he's a really good actor generally speaking, but he is not holding back on effort.
No, give him his due. Give the man his due. Right, so I retract that statement. I think if I was to say all of that again, yeah, what I would have said is, with say someone like Brie Larson, how there's an association with her. Maybe she carries baggage in terms of public perception. When she's literally just a voice, in a movie, her voice isn't so distinctive that the general public is going to be like, "Oh, that's fucking Brie Larson right there." It's more just like she's just a standard
No,
female
yeah,
American voice.
I'm with
And
you.
so,
I don't think her being cast as Rosalina is going to tank the movie. That's like a crazy thought.
unless she
Grace
does come
Randolph.
out on the publicity tour and be like, "Yeah, Mario is a fucking misogynist
Yeah,
asshole,"
that would be a huge mistake for her to do. But at the same time, I think it would do damage. But I don't even know if they could stop a juggernaut like Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's like that's going to be tough even for her.
Yeah.
It's a pretty enormous film. It's got an audience that don't even care about press conferences or interviews or whatever.
It would
The
be kind of
kids,
funny
right?
though if like this was her comeback opportunity and she fucking tanked her career again.
I just like the idea that
safest...
a fucking like 7-year-old is gonna go see this. And they're like, no, Brie Larson's in it.
Yeah. Honestly, it would be kind of hilarious, like if she did that and tanked the movie, like it bombed, and then Grace Randolph's like, "Fucking told you." Like, we'd all have to be like, "Oh shit, Grace Randolph called something correctly." Sorry.
And yeah, just in closing on the voice acting thing as well, I think there was something recently of some actors getting really pissed off that they're considered, they're even credited as voice of, and they only did voice work when some of them are doing the shit that Benedict Cumberbatch is doing here in films. And it's just like, for example, with God of War, they'll act out the entirety of the game, pretty much any cutscene stuff. It's all done physically and arguably even more annoying, right? Because you don't get to wear casual clothes; you have to wear all the equipment and have the sets and all the things. It's a lot of work, and the industry it's not quite equipped to appreciate it yet.
No, and I think there's like, I do understand the problem there, because it's like, yeah, they're clearly doing more than just sitting in a booth lending their voice to it, but they are not like, what you're seeing on screen is not them. It's like a computer generated asset that's overlaid over their movements and stuff, which is, it gets you into an awkward middle ground where there needs to be
Yeah, I
some
get what you're saying.
recognition that they're physically acting, but also that they're not on screen in the normal sense, like they're not physically there. But yeah, like there probably just needs to be some kind of separate category created for that to recognize the commitment they put into it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yep. Yeah, Master of Puppets. Would Predator POV film have worked better if it had been a predator on its first solo hunt after a group of humans on the hunting world from predators and given minimal gear to prove itself to its elders?
I am fine with it kind of reminds me of superheroes. Like, I'm fine with just going with a fucking veteran one immediately, a top tier one.
Sure, I think it probably would create a slight problem with the audience in that the audience is probably going to identify with the humans, automatically, given that they are them. And so you're going to have to work extra hard to get the predator on your side. Whereas what they did with Badlands, I get what it does from an emotional manipulation standpoint of like, well, we're not putting up against humans, it's up against some giant monster thingy, which, it's even less humanoid in appearance than the predator. So there's something there in terms of like getting the audience to buy into it. What you could do, I suppose, is have the predator being hunted by humans. So like a Weyland-Yutani kill team is sent out after it, like with super advanced weaponry and stuff, and the predator is then on the back foot. Maybe you could do something with that.
There are ways to make it work for sure. Obviously, there's an irony that I would say what they've done doesn't work, and then people be like, "Well, then how is it making so much money?" And she'd be like, "No, I mean, yeah, there's people that talking about like the health of the franchise combined with engagement for an audience, combined with a coherent film, as opposed to just makes money."
Let's take a look as well because I want to see how it's doing.
Well, yeah, for the record, I'm just saying it's made money in a neutral sense. As to whether or not it's going to make profit, that's a different thing.
Yeah. So apparently it's sitting at 136 million worldwide, and that's after what, a week and a half? Yeah, it's been at 10 days or so. So
yeah, and Running Man is going to start to slice it off at least somewhat.
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably make it to 200, but then it costs what, over 100 million to make. So
105 is the assumption. So if we say 250 to at least clear, it's got a bit to go yet.
Yeah, it could be a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Next one. Eat Man says, a film starring Chris, who has a mind control camera he uses to direct chicks to his den, says to them, you have been Stuckmanized as they are frozen for his personal movie projects. Would you direct it? Absolutely. If Chris Stuckman was willing to act in it as himself, I would direct him. Can you be the cinematographer, Mauler?
I can.
Excellent. Let's make it happen. Otto Deutsch says, I love Predator, but I don't like the opening scene with the spaceship approaching Earth. Neither do I agree. It gives away that they're dealing with an alien. They should have made it the big reveal later in the film. Yeah, I think that was added late in the movie, from what I recall. It wasn't in the original script, and the studio put it in. But I don't like it. I don't know how you feel about that, Mauler. I think the movie would have been more interesting if the ship approaching Earth and, you see like the Predator capsule eject from it.
So the Thing and the Predator movies, both opening with those, is always something that's annoyed me. But it's one of those things where it's like, no film is perfect. It's like, it's not a flaw. I just don't want it there. That's all.
Yeah. Leary Baird says Baby Driver is an underrated masterpiece. No, it's not. It's got some good driving scenes in it for sure, but that's it. Like the villain's really fucking forgettable. The main character's forgettable.
It was a wild experience because like it was so long ago, but I remember being like, his next movie, this is it. We got like, I'm about to get the same blast I got from the Cornetto trilogy, and then you watch it. I just remember being like, okay.
Was that the beginning of the downward trajectory of Edgar Wright then, would we say?
Oh, well, because Scott Pilgrim was before that. Am I right in saying that? Yeah. Scott Pilgrim, I felt, had stronger characters, and the editing, it was so many more flourishes for the editing. So I remember feeling like, okay, that was an adaptation of an IP thing. Like it's not quite what I'm after, but it was cool and good for him, and I like it. That's totally fine. And it's like, okay, now it's an original film. It's like, whoa, yes, okay, here we go. And then it was like, oh, okay,
yeah.
And that's the thing. A lot of people are like, wow, you've been really harsh to Baby Driver. It's like, Baby Driver is better in isolation or relative to its, other films or whatever, but not to the Cornetto trilogy.
No, absolutely not. Ragtag Muscle says, Drinker and Crew, with the end of the year approaching and not much coming out, now is a perfect time to watch The Day the Earth Blew Up Looney Tunes movie. Well worth the revisit. People did say good things about that, but nobody fucking watched it. It was weird. Banksy says, hey, baby, you make me wish I had 3 hands. It's a nice little Total Recall reference there. Like it. Drinker, take your pants off. Well, if you insist. As per EFAP's recommendation in their Badlands breakdown, watched All Is Lost. Great near dialogueless Robert Redford survival film. Drinker, status on those pants. They're still up at the moment, but there's always the potential to change. Is the Robert Redford one where he's on a yacht or something and it gets wrecked in a storm?
Well, so because we were broadly recommending a bunch of like, it's annoying that having no dialogue is just considered a no-go for stories, basically wholesale. Did you see Flow?
No, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to Estonia soon. I think that's where it was made.
Highly recommend Flow. That's a 2020. Is that 2024 film? Yeah, because that would have been hyper competitive, if not the winner for 2024 for me. There's basically zero dialogue, and it's all about animals, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah, I'm fine with movies that have little or no dialogue. I think it puts more of an onus on like great direction and great performances, and if you can do that, great, and keep the audience engaged. I'm fine with that.
That was actually one of the things with Good Boy. I kind of wish there was less dialogue in that.
They strip it down, I think, as much as they can. There's a lot of like quiet scenes and stuff.
There are. It's just that there was a handful of the dialogue was also, it sounded a bit off. I think like all of it was ADR. At first, I thought maybe it was a stylistic thing to make it sound as though the dog is hearing it weird, but I think it might have been some kind of problem they had with recording. I don't know. In any case, a lot of lines were very, this is happening and this is the state of things. It's like, yeah, I was picking it up. It's all right. We're good.
Yeah.
For the record, I really like Good Boy. It's one of my favorites of the year.
It was a very, I hesitate to say this about a horror movie, but it was like a heartwarming kind of story.
I really like the point in it. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Mega Spidey Man says, to all, favorite Batman costumes and why those?
Favorite Batman costumes?
I mean, it's
I feel
got
like
to
I've
be
answered this before. I'm trying to remember.
The George Clooney one with the bat nipples, clearly. I mean, that was peak.
I mean, I like the Batman one. I know Gary hates I think he hates that costume outright, actually.
Because I hate to reference like the Zack Snyder movies, but the sort of standard Batman tactical suit that Batman wears in BVS, I think it's really fucking good.
Yeah, I really like that one
big,
too.
Heavily powerful, dangerous Batman who's just like this absolute powerhouse. I really like that look.
Did they say live action only, or did they just say Batman?
They just said Batman.
Because the animated show Batman, that probably is like, have they done a version of that yet in the movies at all? I don't think so. One that looks like that. I know that some of the Arkham games kind of go that way. It is a pretty iconic fucking outfit. But like Batman '89 costume is like fine to me. Most of them like pass. You know what I mean? Because the Nolan ones, I don't know if how you feel about them, but they often score low for people because they felt a little too generic almost. They're like blocky army body armor sort of style.
I can understand that. It's like too grounded almost.
Yeah.
Captain Crunch here says, I bought Dispatch on your recommendation. I didn't like it. Way too many cutscenes. Invisigal was completely unlikable. Thankfully, Steam let me refund. I mean, when you're talking about too many cutscenes, you understand this is like a story-based, like choose your own adventure game. Like
you probably shouldn't be playing a game like that if you're not into the cutscenes.
It's basically all cutscenes with the Invisigal. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe you didn't play it for long enough, but like if you give her time to like settle into the narrative and you learn more about her, like I think she's like super endearing. But hey, maybe that's just me. Banksy says Kindergarten Cop. Yes. That is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Croak says, who is your birthing donor and what is Z's job? For modern audiences. John Thomas says, new Running Man compares to the old one like Death Race with Statham is to Death Race 2000 with David Carradine. The originals have social commentary with satire. The new ones are just standard adventure flick. That's a pretty good comparison. Yep. Siradin says, in Disney's earnings call this morning, Bob said that they're going to bring back Scrubs. Is there any hope that it's good? Here's February 25 and 26, apparently. Yeah, we talked about this on the night. I think I don't have much hope. Everyone's old as fuck now, and the environment has changed completely.
Yeah.
Drinker Take Your Pants Off says, did IQs and Drinker's pants just drop sharply while I was away? Probably. Mauer, congrats on your magnificent longness. Can't wait for Gary's book. Cheers to the bar. Yeah, I got Gary's book on pre-order and I want it now. God damn it.
Hell yeah. And soon. The video is soon. Very soon.
Everything's going to be soon. That's what we're always told. I'll believe it when I see it. Casual Guest gave us $10. Thank you. Daval says he was in Platoon in the 80s as a sergeant. Man, who are we talking about there?
Probably someone who pops up in a bunch of stuff. Willem Dafoe. He was a sergeant.
No, it's John C. McGinley. He was in.
Platoon. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was in Platoon for sure.
Yeah. Honorbound Gaming says, have any of you ever ventured into Mobile Suit Gundam? It filled the Star Wars shaped hole in my life for a few years now. 1979 holds up very well. Never watched the Gundam stuff. Sorry, it's never really been my thing.
Seems
And then,
neat.
I know, and like it's almost like heresy to say you haven't watched it, but what can I say? Chris Nicholson says, "Yikes, Grace! You know you've gone too far when even Drinker and Gary think you need to ease up a bit on Brie Larson." Man, I'm all about redemption arcs and stuff, and I feel like everyone deserves a second chance. And I think
Yeah.
Bree's earned hers. Like she's been out in the wilderness for like 5 years now, so give her a break. Dr. Quagsire says, "Hey Paddle, I know this isn't a solo thing, but I wanted to hear Mahler's opinion on Look Outside and also top 3 party members."
So I love Look Outside. It's probably my game of the year at this point. Someone recommended it in super chats some time ago. I put it in a notepad and then I looked at a trailer and I was like, wow, this looks really cool. Played it a couple of times and now I'm kind of in love with it and streaming it every Monday. It's just a game. You
Nice.
wake up in an apartment building, Lovecraftian monsters flown across the sky, and everyone in the
Naturally.
apartment building is broadly, between 0 and 100 and turning into a Lovecraftian monster, and you have to, find resources, try and figure out the mystery of what's happening, stay alive, and recruit members of the team. To give you an example, Drinker, of just how much fun this game is, you'll walk into like a random room, and a little cockroach will jump on you, and the game will put it in your inventory, and you can select it and kill it or leave it. And in my first playthrough, I killed it because I was like, oh, it's probably going to kill me if I don't do that. But then someone else was like, no, leave it this time. And I was like, okay, in my next playthrough. And when you get into your apartment, it jumps out and just walks around. And then if you find more of them in the building and collect them, eventually they'll write a scribbly note saying like, hello, may we stay here? And
God's
just like,
sake.
yeah, okay. If you leave out, because you can make food and then eat it, but if you make food and leave it on the table overnight, they'll multiply significantly. And eventually your whole area is filled with loads of them. And if you walk into your bathroom, you'll see a man standing there. You talk to him, and it's all the cockroaches in a trench coat with a hat. And he'll be
Right.
like, hi. And they'll pay you money for rent. And then they'll be like, I'll happily help you like with whatever you're up to. So you can recruit them as part of your team, and the roaches will be like a member who could attack creatures with you.
This is the dream that was promised to Asmongold, and it never really happened for him.
That is one of the, I think, 20 optional companions. Stuff like that in the game amuses the hell out of me. It's so much fun mechanically, and it's all surprising because you never know what's going to happen depending on what you might choose, but there's some level of intuitiveness to it. And so my my number one companion would be Helen. Helen, by the way, is this gardening woman who looks like Michael Myers. Jason. She wears a hockey mask and she has these huge shearers, and she's like
Right.
dressed in all black. And if you fail to water your plants or take care of your plants properly, she will hunt you down and kill you.
Seems reasonable,
So
I would say.
yeah, so be careful. So it'd be her. I don't know, maybe the roaches or whatever. And who else do I have in my party? Usually, it's oh yeah, Audrey. Audrey the vending machine.
Well, like
She's
a
a
vending machine that just
Lovecraftian.
walks around.
Yeah, you have to, when you buy a certain amount of cans from her, she starts talking to you, and she's got like tentacles and stuff. And eventually, you help her out on something, and she'll join your team, and she shoots like cans of soda at people for you. It's I love this game, and having them as a selection of your team is just really fun. So yeah, easily recommend it. It's probably my game of the year.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Speaking like Lovecraftian monsters and stuff, did you ever play Still Wakes the Deep?
No,
I
that's
did a
on. I
review.
was going to this Halloween, and then I changed my mind because of Look Outside and some other stuff.
The premise of it is superb. Like an oil rig out in the North Sea in the middle of a storm, and they drilled too deep and too greedily, and they awoke something from
People
a
still
different
recommend it. I've got
world.
it. I've got it installed, so I will play it. It might be next Halloween or something, but I will.
Nice. I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah, the creature design and stuff is superb. There's a lot going on there.
Ooh.
John Gets Gaming says Claire Obscure and Final Fantasy 16 have amazing voice actors. By the way, yes, they do. Correct on both counts. OMG Puppies. Speaking of Kevin Spacey, that reminds me he was one of the story arcs of Wise Guy, one of the great TV shows around the time of The Sopranos. Ken Weil plays an undercover cop. All right, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Book of Grudges says, I feel like in the modern Hollywood system, who the director is have become almost irrelevant. The director doesn't have control anymore. The producers and the studio do. You need a big name with lots of pull to change that. Yeah, I mean, Gary's summed it up perfectly. He said, like, in the Marvel system, for example, directors are cast rather than hired. And it's
Yeah.
exactly correct. Yeah, they're just performative. Uncharted says Brie Larson's last meal with Mythical Kitchen was okay. Okay. I've never seen it, but I'll take your word for that.
Yeah.
Jay Fraser says, "Hail, gents. Welcome Larson 2.0, Mrs. Brie Kinnell." That's what we need. Normal man. We all know mainstream animation has basically become an easy paycheck for actors on whom studios market their movie. What do you reckon? Do you think that's true?
Say that again, sorry?
So, mainstream animation has basically become an easy paycheck for actors on whom studios market their movie. I guess an example might be Jack Black in the Minecraft movie or something. Actually, no, not Minecraft.
Anime.
Yeah,
right?
sorry.
Yeah.
Mario, yeah.
I think I agree. I would just hesitate on, like, you can definitely separate the ones who are giving it a good shot versus the ones that aren't. I don't know if this is going to be considered a hot take, but the Wild Robot, there's a lot of famous people in that, including Pedro Pascal, but you can miss that he's in it because he's doing a pretty good voice and he's putting effort into the role.
Here's the question then for you. Because if his voice is not distinctive enough that you would know it's Pedro Pascal, is there even any point in having him in it? Or could you get like a much cheaper but potentially more suitable or talented voice actor to do that role?
Well, I guess if I were in charge, it depends on what our goals are. If I need talent or if I need star power or if I need both, I'll have a different answer depending. But on kind of what you're saying, if I was trying desperately to get people in because of it, say it was Christopher Lee, and Christopher Lee's like, I could do a wacky voice, I'd be like, no, just do your voice.
Just be Saruman, basically.
Yeah, even if it would be a great voice, whatever. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, a lot of them are hired to do their voice, and they do it, and then they leave, and that's that. But even if they do a wacky voice, they can still be on the promotional, circuit, right, and be like, I'm in this. Rawr.
I mean, that's true, but then I feel like even the promotional circuit is really for the Hollywood press rather than for the general public. Like, the general public never bothers to watch these like red carpet shows or anything like that. It's literally just an industry wank fest.
I will say, like, those are like two different forms of an audience binding to a character. If they recognize one of their favorite actors is voicing them and they're doing really well, but it's definitely their voice, that can like make them go, oh yeah, I love that character. But simultaneously, if they put great effort in and create a brand new character with a brand new voice you didn't even account for, and then you go, holy shit, that was them? And you're like, yeah, that was them. And you're like, oh my God, they're so talented. So, either can work. It's just going to be a case by case, I suppose.
SBZ says, stop pussying around and invite Grace to the open bar. The invite is extended.
Hell yeah.
The Hidden Duck says, I think I understand why Badlands is so praised by the masses, even so claimed Predator fans. It's all Dark Horse Comics fans that think the whole Yamcha BS is what Predator is supposed to be. It's basically a comic book movie. Yeah, I mean, I can't comment on this too much because I never read the comics, like the Predator comics. I base my understanding of the Predator on the Predator movies.
Yeah, this does create a divide. I've seen it. There are like third-party works fans who are like, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. And it's like, you can't say to the people who adore the Predator franchise because of Predator that they have no idea what that's so weird. It's like, this happened with Star Wars, right? Like the EU fans versus the ones that only watch the OT. It's just like, yeah, but the EU doesn't exist without the OT. It's built on that. Predator, Dark Horse Comics and stuff is all built on the original film. And it's just, you have to accept that that's continuity that a lot of Predator fans are just completely unaware of.
Yeah, and like, how far do you want to take it? Do you want to say like, well, you have to have also played all the video games in order to properly understand the lore? You had to have like read the comics, you have to have read the novelizations, and God knows what else. Like, how far do you want to go with that?
Everyone draws their lines differently. I mean,
yeah.
I think we mentioned there's like over 500 Buffy comics. I've read none of them, and I don't plan to read on any of them ever. It's like the continuity ends with the show for me. That's it. If someone says like, "Don't you want to see what Dutch did after Predator?" I'm like, no.
Yeah, because it's not Arnold there doing it. It's like,
yeah,
I don't want to see Dutch in a fucking mech suit fighting, an army of predators or whatever. God awful.
Dude, Dutch and Harrigan team up later. He's like, no.
Wouldn't that be cool?
And then Batman, you're like, no, okay, actually, wait.
And then Ripley shows up somehow. Yeah, Jared Sage says, do you think King's novels don't translate well to movie adaptations because so many of his protagonists have a ton of inner dialogue? Cheers. I think it's partly that. It's partly like the spell that he weaves with his books is like this very slow, dreamlike quality. There's a ton of backstory to random things, like he switches perspectives. He'll give you like a shitload of lore about the place and all that. There's a lot going on there that you can't necessarily translate easily into film. So I think that could definitely be a problem with Stephen King's novels. They're all, what generally speaking, his books are fucking breeze blocks. Like they are enormous and labyrinthine, like storytelling. It's fine for what it is, and like his best ones are pretty good. But yeah, that doesn't translate well into a screenplay.
It is funny too, because I think someone could be mistaken into thinking like, man, he's like the king of getting his stuff adapted into really great. I didn't mean to say that, by the way, king.
Yeah, I was
but
gonna say.
into really great movies or TV shows. You know, it's like, look how many there are. It's like, well, there's just not much knowledge on just how many have failed, or just how many haven't made it to a certain place, or how many books he's made that aren't very good, or how many got adapted that didn't make it
Yeah.
anywhere. But you know, there's a credit where it's due. There's plenty of good ones, right?
Well, I think when you get to a certain level of like fame and notoriety and stuff, like it becomes very easy to sell the rights to your books.
Yeah.
You know, just because like, well, it's based on the works of Stephen King. Like, okay, that's going to get a certain amount of audience buy-in anyway, and so regardless of whether it's good or bad, like it's a safe bet for the studios. So it's just going to keep happening clearly, and he doesn't seem to be shy about signing over the rights to his stuff. So, no.
Well, we got Carrie TV shows coming next year, I think.
Yay!
It's Mike Flanagan, so.
Yeah. The Hidden Duck says, I found the first 30% of Predator Badlands entertaining, but from the moment the cute baby Yoda thing appeared, it devolved. Laugh my ass off at the eel sacrifice. Yeah.
It was so funny.
God. Fucking press F in chat to pay your respects. Also, I absolutely hate the forehead bump cliche. Yeah, it's fucking retarded. For me, the movie died the moment Thea showed up. She is just so fucking irritating.
I'm more of a dick to this movie than most people are. I was already getting checked out with the opening with the Predators because me personally, I don't want them talking at all anyway, with subtitles and shit. But if we do it, you better make the dialogue really fucking good.
Was it just me as well, like, or perhaps this is a factor of his creature design? But you know when like his father binds him to the ground with like those laser rope things, and then he's like screaming in Predator style. His face just looks so goofy when like the mandibles are like sticking out, and he's like, ah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's supposed to be a horrifying scene, but I'm just like, this looks so funny. Nathan Cassidy says Grace Randolph is the DSP of movie reviewers. Also, ever since her comments on Badlands, I have this mental soundbite of her in a one-night stand with the new Predator crying, "Wait, wrong hole."
Oh my.
Sick. Shan Wikram Singh says, coincidentally, I'm going to see Speed at my local cinema tonight. Good on you. I hope it was good. Next C says, Metron, if you could get an accurate biopic of a Roman emperor, which one would you pick? Which one would you go for? I'm going to go for Augustus. He was the bomb.
Did he invent bombs?
Yes, he did. All the bombs.
I'm trying to think of like what's an obscure one that we have yet to get the best sort of take on. I'm trying to think of the last film that's come out that we had like a really good, because
I remember Malcolm McDowell in Caligula. That was a bonkers movie. Hold on. I'm actually going to look up obscure Roman emperors.
What's the least known one that we can fuck with the history on and make him turn out to be a time traveler?
Silbanicus, the most obscure. His existence is only confirmed by 2 coins from the 20th century, as no contemporary written sources even mention him. He was likely as usurper during the crisis of the 3rd century.
Okay,
well, there you go.
Let's do that guy.
There's also Avitus. So he was recognized by the Senate, but not the Eastern Emperor. That was when like the Roman Empire had split in 2, and you had 2 capitals, basically. He was a figurehead during the empire's final decline. He might be an interesting one to make a movie about, actually. Yeah. Basically, the guy who oversaw the fall of the Roman Empire. Dick.
Wow, what a loser.
Yeah. OMG Puppy says, all the criticism of Sweeney reminds me of H.L. Mencken's quote, a misogynist is a man who hates women as much as women hate each other. Bro.
Damn.
Marcus says, react and talk about Fallout Season 2. It looks awful. Well, I can't talk about it until it comes out, so...
I've already started to get messages. People like, "You're gonna be covering it? You are covering that one, right? I loved your video on the first year." I was like, no.
I'm gonna make you do it. I'm gonna make you watch it.
I'll watch the first episode at absolute maximum. There's no fucking way I'm watching the whole season. I will not be dragged into this again. This is exactly how it happened last time.
Second Legend says, if Gary's still having problems finding Dispatch, Steam recently put out a filter on by default that filters out games with what's that? 3XU AI content nudities for all right, hentai, but I couldn't find Dispatch until I turned it off. Yeah, so there is a bit of nudity in Dispatch, so that's possibly the reason for it. But it's good nudity, and I approve. It's tits. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Banksy says, have you watched Echo Valley, Sydney and Nat? No, I haven't seen Echo Valley. Have you, Moa?
No, sir.
P says, what item of clothing or costume would you want from a TV or a film? Like seeing a character walk down the aisle with something that caught your eye and makes you go, I want that. Ooh. I don't know.
I always think about it in terms of props and stuff. It's rare that I think about it in terms of clothing pieces or...
Well, yeah, because you could say like Darth Vader's helmet or something like that, but then it's like, yeah, what else? Stuff that was particularly cool.
Gandalf's hat, does that count?
Sure. I did always like Neo's like full-length leather trench coat in the Matrix. I was like, could have done with that in the early 2000s. It would have been cool.
A little bit out of style now, but you know.
Yeah, but back then, it was killer. So I think we asked this on the night. It was a question about writing a script for a video. The script keeps getting bigger with all the things that need to be covered. When do you say no more and actually start recording and editing? That's from Keegan Headland.
Yeah, which I said, I think I'm the worst person to ask this. As best I can answer it, though. I mean, I've said to people before about how I construct my videos. Everything I think I need to say, I then consolidate into a note format and then redraft to make sure it's as lean as I can get it for what I think I'm achieving, and then it goes in. I won't lie, in this new video that's coming out, after the major proof for the entire video was done, I did actually cut 1 or 2 sections. And they're small-ish, but it was because I felt when listening to them that I'd kind of made the point already, and I don't think people have forgotten it anytime soon. So I don't need... But there are times where I will repeat something. There's a line, actually, that I'm particularly fond of where I said, you know, I say something that I've said before, and then at the end of it, I say, as I mentioned 8 hours ago. And it's like, you know, if someone said, so you're repeating yourself, we're like, yeah, I'm repeating myself because it's been 8 hours. You might have forgotten.
Yeah, Jeffinator says, to make it to the 18-hour mark, just put in like 30 minutes of credits at the end. I think that's fair. People would appreciate that.
I shall not cheat the long. The long is as the long does.
The long is undefeated. Aaron Cardenas says, Patrick is an idiot. I guess that's Patrick Willems. Part of the horror is when the characters still get killed by the monster despite their smart decisions, because it demonstrates how significant of a threat the monster is. Yeah, I mean, he is just an idiot.
Oh, you definitely don't have to convince us that all of our favorite horror movies have smart characters in them.
Is Patrick Willems even a thing still? Is he still doing things on YouTube?
Yeah, I think he's still trucking along. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but, you know, I don't think he ever made a video quite as noxious as that one.
Yeah. This is like what he's going to be remembered for. Jay Fraser says, would you rather see Zelda or Super Mario Galaxy? Probably rather see Zelda, if I'm totally honest. If we can guarantee that it's good, yeah.
Oh, yeah, if they're guaranteed good, probably Zelda. I'd be interested to see that.
Western Paradigm says, the recurring villain in my dreams was as a kid was the Xenomorph. What about y'all? I don't know. I didn't really have a recurring monster in my dreams or anything.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Unless it was like a sobriety monster. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Southeastern Kaiju says, happy Friday Eve, everyone. Cheers. Yeah, it was a great Friday Eve. Thank you. Lewis Hand says, Drinker, I just finished Dispatch last night and it was a joy from start to finish. It's easily the best piece of superhero media released all year. Mauler and Gary, you should definitely play it. There you go. Strong endorsement there. John Wayne, the only thing that I want out of AI is to continue or conclude my favorite mismanaged or cancelled TV shows. Just tell the AI a general direction of where you'd like the show to go while still maintaining unpredictability. Could you imagine what it would produce? It'd be wild, actually. It's based on a prompt.
It'd be wacky.
Zeddy Boy says, I just watched Josie, the Tiger, and the Fish. Man, I miss traditional love and relationships in movies. No wonder anime is taken off here in the West. Pretty much. If we don't produce it over here, someone will. R.S. Elman says, Drinker and Gary, how are your duckies from hell?
What?
I don't know. I'm just reading what's there.
All right.
I think it was a question, but
it sure might have been.
A jackass of all trades. Hey guys, I made a video recently about how episodic television is far better than serialized shows. Would love a shout out. Keep up the awesome work. And that's called, the channel's called A Jackass of All Trades. Thanks, man. Phil Mitchell's Fist says, I've cancelled most streaming except for Paramount Plus, because it's got Landman and Mobland. Good choices. And BritBox, classic Brit comedy / Red Dwarf. Also good choice. I'd rather just give the revenue to the Fellowship. All hail. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. And yeah, you made some good choices there. Jay Fraser, for screen tourism, Drinker, you should go to the filming location of the Highlander remake. Sneak on set as an extra and tell McLeod to go away now. Well, I might just be able to do something on that score, but I'll keep you posted. Yeah, I need to go up to Elandonnan Castle, which is used in the original Highlander movie and like a million other TV shows. It's the castle that's out on a loch, and it's got like a big stone causeway that leads out to it. It's been in like every movie about Scotland in the like Middle Ages ever, pretty much. You always see it. So I wanted to go up there when I was at Glencoe, but it was too far away to get to in the time I had. So next time. Anyway. Jonathan Lampkin says, tomorrow's my birthday. I have so much to say to you guys, but can't afford big super chats. Is there a way to become pen pals or email pals? I mean, you can email me. Like, it's on the About section of my channel, so try that. Jim Slater says, is Tatiana real? Thanks for the entertainment, guys. She's as real as you want her to be.
Yeah.
Nick C says Godzilla -1 had no business being that good, and yet it was.
And yet it was.
Tony says somehow Mauler's computer returned.
It really had. I have to do a big shout out to Sony Vegas and my computer for both not failing me as much as they could have during this whole process. I say that when I'm about to cross the finish line, so I don't want to fucking jinx it.
Is your CPA like redlining? Like, stop making me do this stuff.
He's in the hospital bed, he's beeping. He's just like, did I do it, boss? did I come through?
Are you just going to put it into retirement after this? It's like, there. You've done your work.
That's what's happened to the other computers. They go through this. You remember, because like I did the 6-hour Multiverse of Madness and the Quantumania ones. The computer, it wasn't this one that did that. It's an older one.
Yeah. Road on Life Productions says Predator Badlands is a video game movie adaptation of better stories and broken lore from Alien. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nick C says, should we start calling him George Mauler? Sure.
Cool.
OMG puppies. I watched Lost a second time and found myself cheering for Ben. Jack and Kate were morons. Emerson is also great in Person of Interest. Emerson's a great actor. Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah.
Doge says, why did Snow White fail and Lilo and How to Train Your Dragon succeed? I mean, because they didn't have Rachel Zegler in it. So that probably helped. Yeah, I mean, beyond that, like, you had the horrible CGI dwarves and everything. Like, there was just so much negativity around Snow White. I just don't think it ever was going to succeed. And Tony says, Predator versus the Afrika Korps versus Australian troops in Tobruk during World War II. Now, there's a setup for you. Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to the idea I had of like Americans and Japanese on like Iwo Jima or some Pacific island or whatever, nice hot environment for the Predator to be operating in. There's a lot of things you can do there. Just give us something, please. Anyway, that was the last of the super chats right there. So I want to say thank you, as always, for sending us so many, asking us so many questions, and being so generous as you guys always are. We appreciate it here, and you keep the lights on at Open Bar. So that is the real important thing here.
Yep.
But that's all we got for today. So we'll catch you on the next Open Bar, and go away now.
Bye.